You have an invitation?
It'd be rude not to show my face.
Are you absolutely sure about that? I'm sure our guests could survive without beholding the sight of your singular visage. You see, as the housekeeper, it is my job to ensure that only guests of the highest class are in attendance.
How kind of you to think so highly of me.
Look, just don't try burping the alphabet or announcing when you're going to the lavatory.
Welcome in, Kuma Crew. I am, as always, Annakuma, and today we'll be talking about Foolish Mortals. I'm a little late, but I've been working on a big video on the other channel, so you can forgive me for being a little late. It was one of my most anticipated games for 2025, and let's just say I wasn't disappointed with the final results at all. So what is Foolish Mortals? We play as Murphy McCallan, this guy here who looks very much like a stretched out Bilbo Baggins. He's on the hunt for the Belmore Fortune, which has brought him all the way to Devil's Rock, an island off the coast of Louisiana. It is also 1933 for context. Murphy arrives, instantly gets sent to a witch doctor who helps him awaken the ghost of Belmare Manor and sends us on a ghostly quest where a foolish mortal ends up nearly damning them all. That foolish mortal being Murphy, as you can guess. It's actually really funny that at every step he really lives up to the title of the game. I just love it. That being said, even in the demo, we learned about the Belmore family, the three English brothers who amassed a fortune with their shipping business, their sister who fell in love with a sailor, the brothers going missing mysteriously one by one, and then on the day of the wedding between their sister and the sailor, her sending the sailor away and deciding to marry the first mate, John Rackman, instead. On that night, though, something happened and no one left the manor ever again. You'll learn small bits and pieces from the people living on the island. Most people are scared of the manor and haunted from the events that happened 33 years ago. You'll see yourself exploring the entire island to find what happened to the brothers, what their secrets were, and what the heck happened at that wedding. I personally believe the story is very solid. I think it is told really well, and it does seed its many twists and turns throughout the story, so any aha moment very often is shown how you should have come to that conclusion when it happens. I guess the ending will just depend on your mileage with this kind of story. Personally, I enjoyed it, and whilst it probably didn't give me the emotions that the game wanted me to have, and I'll possibly go into why I'm a weirdo and that in a longer review maybe down the road, it's a bit too much of a spoiler for this one. It wasn't a bad ending. But how does it play? Pretty amazingly, to be honest with you. Foolish Mortals is a love letter to the 90s whilst being its very own thing and modernizing things just a little bit. Getting around is simple, you just point and click. Double clicking will make Murphy do a little run, which will get you around a little faster. Areas can be pretty big, but you never feel like you are spending too much time traveling. There is also a map that you can pop up at any point at the end of the inventory under the menu button, meaning you can fast travel to other locations fast, and it even has a fireplace fast travel for faster travel into the mansion. The fireplace is important, but it's just nice to have its spot within the mansion because you go back there so often. Inventory drops down from the top of the screen. It is simple to use with nice clear icons for the items you pick up. As I said, there is then a drop down on the right hand side, a cog for the settings and then the map, and a fireplace fast travel button, as well as a hint section and hotspots. Hotspots aren't really needed, but are always a nice quality of life addition to these games, but the hint section is pretty good. It doesn't outright tell you what to do, but gently nudges you towards where you need to look, and I love that. Warning though, hotspots is not on the H key, hints are, so if you press the H key, you are going to have Murphy chime up with a hint to where to go. Not only that, but in the options they have a hint meter for soft hints during gameplay. Now, I thought for the longest time that having it down to number 1 meant that it wouldn't give hints randomly, but you actually have to click on it to absolutely disable it. I do love that they give this though as an option. Some people who struggle with the puzzle element might enjoy having Murphy tell them at random intervals if they are looking in the right place, whilst others like myself want to play the game completely on my own. One major problem point-and-click games face in this day and age is sadly the reputation that classic point-and-clicks had for unfair softlocks, deaths, and moon logic, as well as the dreaded pixel hunting. Whilst none of these qualities of life updates, like having your character give you hints or hotspots, are needed in many of the newer games, it is a wonderful way of opening the game up to those who had bad experiences, or just worry that they will get lost in the puzzles and not be able to progress. It's always worth remembering there is never a right or wrong way to play a game, and if you need hotspots and hints, then you absolutely can and should use them, especially if they're in the game. After all, if the developers have put something into a game to help you, there is never any shame in using those mechanics because the devs knew they would be needed for some people. I think I actually did need to use a hint for one puzzle, as I completely and utterly got lost on what to do. I might have in the end figured it out on my own, but it was the only puzzle I really wanted hotspots for, because all my ways of completing the task at hand failed, and I wondered if I was missing something completely. At that point, I hadn't seen that there was a hotspot button in the options, so I was just going around randomly. It's just one puzzle though, and I really needed the hint because I'd got into my head about it. The game is so well written, the puzzles will make logical sense. Murphy is aware of how strange he comes over doing any of the things he does. Characters interact really well to the weirdness around them. Everything about the game just oozes with personality. Murphy is a great character, standing dead middle of a scale that starts with George Stobart at 0 and ends with Guybrush Threepwood at whimsy. He isn't dumb like Guybrush, but he's friendly and personable in a lost little puppy way like Guybrush is. He is smart enough like George and will tell you everything he's thinking and doing, but he isn't arrogant or rude. He's nice to the people and ghosts around him, who in turn are nice to him unless they're just assholes, in which case then they're assholes.
Pleased to meet you all.
Back off, Peanut. Yeah, keep walking. We were talking to the lady first.
Now, boys, we must be welcoming to our new friend. My name is Tallulah LaRue. I expect you've heard of me. My daddy owns the LaRue Oil Exchange. We're the richest family this side of the Mississippi.
But don't be getting any ideas. Tallulah, don't you think this gentleman is a little beneath you? He looks so poor, he probably waves a popsicle around and calls it air conditioning.
Let's not be rude to him just because he's less fortunate. You boys be welcoming and introduce yourselves.
If we must. I am Humphrey Tallulah. And I am Orville Tallulah, of the Tallulah Textiles Company.
I think you made the pants I'm wearing.
When someone does annoy him, he talks like a normal person would, instead of instantly getting defensive and childish like George does. In a point-and-click world that seems to be full of either himbos that we love or, well, George and Simon, who we don't love, Murphy sits in this wonderful position where he easily informs the audience of what they need to know without treating the audience like they're dumb. He interacts with the world in such a way that he never becomes tiresome. The world is full of funny characters who also never get boring. There isn't a giant cast of characters. Okay, I'm kind of wrong there. There is a huge cast, but everyone stands out on their own. It is a game of very much 3 parts. The opening and the build-up, the investigation and lore building, and then the explosive dramatic ending. And every single part of that needs characters who can effortlessly give us the information we want, whilst feeling like people themselves. They're not just there to give you facts, they're there to be people. Some of my favorite characters were the Colonel Ghost, who gets so fed up of listening to the Vicar, he throws his ear trumpet away. This guy made me laugh all the time.
Yes, but to 9 different women.
It still counts.
His shortest marriage was 2 days, and that's only because they couldn't find him to serve the annulment papers.
I ended up in a bordello in East Nevada with half the members of the Albuquerque Militia Marching Band. Best honeymoon I've been on. Some lovely girls.
Lord forgive him, for he knows not what he does.
That's not what the girls were telling me.
We have the serial killer Black Widow type lady, who was creepy from the first word she spoke.
Gee, I wouldn't want a duel to take place because of little old me. But if that's how things have to be, let's get the guns on the table, boys.
I love this old man and this whole thing about the goldfishes being the spirit of his grandmother.
And I won this goldfish on the ring toss. When we got home, every time we mentioned Bethesda, that little fish jumped out of the water and back on in. We think Granny's passed on into that fish. What do you think?
The gravekeeper I felt bad for as we constantly worked towards giving him a heart attack.
That's her. The peril in a pinafore. She got the whole town thinking I was burying people prematurely.
And this guy on the dock just doing his fishing. He's just a wonderfully lovely character.
He was overheard down at Spinelli's bar boasting about how he put ball bearings inside the Pengoza to make it heavier. Can you believe the nerve of some people?
The despicable things they'll do.
It means I'm right behind you, buddy. Just one lucky catch, and I'll be bumping you down to second place.
This whole experience is made even more amazing by the wonderful art style that comes with the game. I do feel the animations of the characters were a little on the stiff side, looking like those cut-out paper dolls that you pin the limbs together and move, but it kind of worked and it grew on me. It gave it style, and the characters within the game itself look amazing. That being said, it's the backdrop for the entire adventure that made the ordinary so unordinary. In that way, it really spoke to me of Broken Sword with the vast, beautiful backgrounds. I loved it. I forever compared it to Broken Sword, which is one of my favorite series. And, just to plug it a little bit, I do have my retrospective series on the other channel with 2 videos on Broken Sword now. Count them 2. From beginning to end, this game gripped me, and I never really wanted to stop playing it. So, if you like ghost stories, enjoyable main characters, and some really fun puzzles, I absolutely recommend you check out Foolish Mortals. And if you've been burnt by point and clicks before, the game has so many options to help you through the game, it is worth picking it up just for that. Link to the game, as always, will be in the description below. That is all I have time for today, so if you'd like to continue to support this bear here, then please feel free to check out the description for the links to all my YouTube projects, my social media, and my Patreon. Also, like this video, comment and subscribe to help it get seen in the algorithm. Till next time though, thanks as always for watching, and bye-bye.
Hey! Could you get me out of here?
Murphy, what are you doing down there?
Trying to not be down here.
I'll go fetch a ladder. Don't go anywhere.
Where do you think I could go?